Most people aspire to lead as independent a life as possible. In reality, we all rely on others to varying degrees to support aspects of our daily lives. For many people who are deaf-blind, their lives can be confusing, unpredictable and exhausting. This dual sensory loss may result in an increased reliance upon family, carers and others. The degree of independence that they can achieve and the type and level of assistance they require will depend on the individual level of loss and how early in life that loss has occurred. Providing assistance to suit the person and the task they are performing will increase their independence. A person's level of independence and participation will be influenced by their skills and abilities, their access to the right tools, information and support, their own motivation for independence, and, significantly, the expectation of others around them. Finding the right level of support can have a positive impact on the independence of a person who is deaf-blind. A good start for supporting participation and independence is knowing about appropriate strategies and equipment that can be utilised to make everyday tasks around the home and community easier. This DVD provides a snapshot of some of these strategies that the person, their family and other support partners can implement, therefore making it easier. Strategies for empowering people who are deaf-blind to be more active participants within their home and community. 3 core strategies to help maximise participation and independence will be discussed in this DVD. Structuring and adapting the environment, using task analysis to break down bigger tasks into the steps involved, and using adaptive equipment and technology. Let's have a look at these strategies in more detail now. Strategy 1. Structuring and adapting the environment. The environment is the conditions that you live or work in and the way that they influence how you feel or how effectively you can work. We all require a good environment to maximise our opportunities for participation and learning. A good environment is one that meets the needs of the individual by being accessible, allowing easy access to meaningful information, places and activities. Being organised for easier location of items. Supporting and meeting individual communication needs, such as a visual timetable. Being interesting, both physically and socially for the person, and is responsive to their changing or fluctuating needs and preferences. If these aspects are considered in their environment, the person who is deaf-blind may be able to increase their motivation and exploration of their environment. When thinking about the environment, there are a number of aspects which may be considered. The physical space, layout and contents of each environment. Lighting, both light sources and the issue of glare. Contrast, involving colour and texture. Noise, background noise and speech. Smells and aromas, including those that can be used as cues. And social environment, including those who are involved, their expectations and the interpersonal dynamics. The following strategies and recommendations are relevant for use in the home, school, respite, community and work settings. Physical space. One of the most important factors for the person who is deaf-blind is having an environment that is orderly, consistent and predictable. Through the consistent location of his food, bag and eating utensils, Jacob is learning routines, language concepts and independence, resulting in him being able to pack his own food when going out. Sharon's consistent and predictable layout assists her to negotiate familiar environments with confidence and safety. And Mark uses the tactile indicators on the footpath and the feel of the porch post as cues that he is approaching his front door and can manage independently from here. Tips on setting up an accessible environment. Keep furniture in consistent positions around the room. If you need to make changes, support the person who is deaf-blind to become familiar with these. Make sure furniture is comfortable and accommodates the needs of both the person who is deafblind and the person who is interacting with them. Organise spaces so items can be easily located and encourage everyone to put things back into their designated place. Reduce clutter so movement pathways remain clear, items can be readily identified, and the environment remains orderly and predictable. Create a tactile environment. Use a variety of sensory markers to help the person make sense of their environment and motivate them to explore and participate. Encourage a safe environment through the use of contrast on steps and corners, non-slip materials, and leave doors either fully open or closed, as doors left ajar are potentially dangerous. Lighting. Good lighting plays a crucial role in enabling a person with low vision to utilise their residual vision. Without adequate lighting, the person may not be able to see well enough and may lose interest in the activity or become fatigued. Two types of lighting need to be considered: general lighting and task lighting. General lighting is provided by sunlight or artificial sources to light whole rooms or areas. It's important to have good lighting in rooms and walkways to ensure safe mobility. Task lighting is used when there is the need to see greater detail. This is often provided by lamps. These should be positioned so that their light falls directly onto the area, item or person that requires illumination, with minimal shadowing or glare. Lamps should be situated appropriately around the home or environment to suit the individual's needs. Glare occurs when light reflects off a surface and interferes with someone's ability to see. Glare can significantly interfere with the vision of a person who is deafblind and should be minimised where possible. This can be done by avoiding reflective and glossy surfaces, positioning materials correctly to reduce reflection, avoiding looking directly into light sources, using window curtains and blinds to reduce external light, and wearing tinted glasses when required outside. Excessive brightness can have a similar effect to glare and should be minimised where possible. The direction of the light source is also important to consider. The person who is deafblind should be seated or positioned with the light source behind or above them, with the light shining on the other person. As well as being more comfortable for the person who is deafblind, it will enhance their opportunity to see the other person's facial expressions and any gestures or signing that they might use. It's important to remember this when approaching and greeting someone who is deafblind. Sudden changes in lighting conditions can also affect vision significantly. This can occur when a person moves between a well-lit and darker area and from unexpected situations such as light failure or stormy weather. It is important to allow the person who is deafblind time to let their eyes adjust to the changing light conditions and to request increased lighting if necessary. Contrast. Contrast improves the visibility of objects and their details. For people who are deafblind, using contrast assists them to distinguish between objects and surfaces. Contrast can be achieved using different coloured objects or surfaces to enable a person with low vision to differentiate between them. Different textured objects or surfaces help the person differentiate between them through touch. This tactile difference is particularly important for people with minimal or no vision. You can see in these two table settings that in the first example there is a limited contrast between the plate and table. With a simple addition of a contrasting placemat, the plate's visibility is increased. In this next example, the plate, cutlery and placemat are all clearly defined visually. Additionally, each surface has a different texture or feel, so the contrast can be felt as well as seen. This enhances the overall contrast for each item and makes them more identifiable to the person with visual difficulties. Sharon uses clearly labelled measuring cups and utensils that are well contrasted against her dark bench to aid her when cooking. While the lack of contrast when measuring out a cup of milk into a white measuring cup is more difficult for her, she's able to pour the darker vanilla essence into the white spoon quite easily. For people who sign, it is also important to wear clothes that provide contrast for their hands. Solid coloured clothing is usually most helpful when signing to people who have low vision. Noise. Noise is a natural part of everyday life. While it is important and inevitable that there will be noise within an environment, for the person who is deaf-blind, it is helpful to control noise levels when learning new skills and during tasks that require high levels of concentration. Ways to minimise background noise and improve listening conditions include turning off or turning down the radio or TV, standing back or moving away from the source of noise, and avoiding busy or noisy times when the person is practicing new tasks. When there is background noise, position yourself so you are closer to the person and speak clearly. You may need to relay the message to them in a clearer voice if they've not understood. If the person has more hearing in one ear, encourage them to position themselves so that any conversation is directed to that ear. Remind people who are conversing with them to sit on this side to maximise their opportunity to hear more clearly. It is also important to make sure hearing aids, cochlear implants or other assistive listening devices are working.
Good boy. Good boy, Jacob.
It is important to continue to talk to the person who is deaf-blind, reinforcing spoken communication along with their other communication methods. As well as encouraging the use of their residual hearing, the pauses in conversation facilitate a natural rhythm and pace to the interaction, supporting shared turn-taking and, importantly, time for processing and responding to the communication. In some situations, it may be appropriate to wait until the person has finished a particular activity before starting a conversation, as this may distract them from the task. Smells and aromas. The sense of smell is one of the vital distant senses that can provide information about the environment, the people, events and changes happening around us. Smells can serve a number of functions, including as a cue to help us identify what is happening or where we are, to alert us to changes in the environment and warn us of danger, and as a way to calm or influence how we feel. For people with significant hearing and vision loss, the sense of smell can have a significant role, both as a means of gaining information about the environment and as a tool for encouraging sensory exploration, mobility and participation. Some of the ways to develop someone's ability to use their sense of smell include taking time to associate meaning to individual smells of people, places, objects and activities, establishing a sensory garden with aromatic plants such as mint, and encouraging the use of smells as a cue to locations around the house or in the community, such as the smell of the river when the tide is low, and the smell of animals at the pet shop or farm. There is a strong link between smells, memory, and emotions. New smells, such as from a new dining table, may be of interest for some time. Responses to scents can be very individual. For people considering using a scent, such as a perfume or aftershave, as part of a personal signature, use a subtle scent and check that it is not distasteful to the person concerned, and be consistent in your use. Social environment. The social environment plays a crucial role in the success or failure of many activities. It refers to the interaction between people and the often unspoken connection and thoughts within the situation. If someone is motivated and interested in interacting and teaching someone a new task, they will structure the task so it's more likely to be successful. A positive social environment helps to give the person who is deaf-blind the motivation to seek participation and activity. It is important to allow sufficient time when interacting with a person who is deaf-blind. Everyday tasks may take longer for the person to complete, and support partners may need time to help the person make connections with their environment, explaining and describing activity, and supporting their involvement in decision-making. Tips for changing the environment. Over time, it's inevitable that the environment will change. Whether it is a change in the furniture or a new house, It's important to communicate to the person who is deaf-blind about any changes or intended changes, as it will affect their concept of the environment and any mind map they may have. For the person who is deaf-blind, unexpected changes can create a sense of confusion, uncertainty or anxiety. There are several ways to help transition changes to the environment, including prepare the person for the change and involve them in the process where possible and practical. For example, visit a new home a few times before the person moves in. Make only one change at a time when possible. Rather than change an entire room of furniture, change one piece of furniture first, then gradually introduce other new items. Integrate a replacement item while the old item is still present. For example, if a child is getting a new bed, where practicable, place both beds together initially until they understand that this is now their new bed. When moving or changing items, try to incorporate familiar aspects. For example, use their unwashed bedding with a familiar smell on the new bed initially or in the new house. Try to position items in a familiar way when new furniture is purchased or when moving to a new house. Support the person during the change process and continue with typical activities during the transition phase. And importantly, support the person after changes have occurred. It may take some people a significant length of time to realise and accept their new environment. Strategy 2. Task analysis. Task analysis is the process of breaking down a task or activity into its steps and then considering what is involved in doing each step. Young children learn to do everyday tasks by seeing and then practicing parts of the task. Over time, they are encouraged to develop and participate in more parts of the task. Other children and adults usually learn new tasks in a similar manner. This breaking down of a task usually happens for most people quite naturally. For the person who is deaf-blind, their loss of hearing and vision means they may have difficulty developing a concept of the task and completing it independently. There may also be an assumption that they are unable to participate in the task. By analysing the task and breaking it down into smaller steps, opportunities for Jacob's participation have been identified. Over time, Jacob is progressively learning to do more of a task as his skill level increases, as he learns new strategies and with the assistance of adapted equipment and technology. Task analysis provides a useful framework for family and support people involved in teaching everyday activities. Importantly, task analysis helps to make tasks manageable, both for the person learning and for the person teaching. It helps to identify steps that the person is able to do, could learn to do, or steps that they are unable to do at this time. It also helps to identify where support can best be offered to ensure the person can still participate to their full potential. It is important to remember, participation in the activity is just as important as the independent completion of the activity. Yolanda has previously discussed with Mark the steps required in this task, and together they have worked out which steps Mark currently needs assistance with. When analysing a task, there are several key questions to ask to ensure the analysis is thorough. These include: what steps are needed to complete the task? Where and what sort of environment is it taking place in? What tools or things are needed to complete the task? When does it usually happen? What people are involved in the task? What preparation steps are needed before commencing or completing the task? And what is the motivation for the task? Once you've analysed the task, look at what changes can be made to assist the person who is deaf-blind to participate more. For example, is there a better environment or time for them to do this task, and are there any skills they already have that will assist them with this task? It is important to remember that there can be multiple ways to perform a task, and so it is important to respect the individual preferences of the person who is deaf-blind when analysing the task. Once a task has been analysed and a method for the task has been decided on, it is important that this is done consistently with everyone who is assisting the person. This will help to reinforce the learning process and reduce confusion. Strategy 3. Adaptive equipment and technology. Adaptive or assistive technology is a piece of equipment that helps compensate for the effects of a disability. For the person who is deafblind, a range of items and strategies can be accessed and implemented to help compensate for their dual sensory loss. These aim to address the functional impact of the hearing and vision loss. Items may range from simple devices such as a magnifying glass to more sophisticated devices such as video magnifiers, CCTV, hearing aids and cochlear implants. Many pieces of everyday equipment can also be adapted to help compensate for vision loss. It is important to remember that technology is always evolving and to check for new technology that may be available. Examples of adaptive equipment and technology for vision loss include CCTV and handheld magnification devices, big button telephone and large print telephone numbers, braille readers and printers, text-to-speech scanners, speech storage devices, personal computers with specialised software programs including magnified visual output for people who need to see enlarged print, and screen reading software for people who need text converted to speech, DVD reduction programs for people who need a smaller field of view due to tunnel vision, smoke alarms, talking clocks,
2:49 p.m.
vibrating liquid level indicator and plate guard, measuring cups and spoons, large print labels and calendar, tactile markers such as Velcro bumpits, Dymo tape or braille labels, writing guides and notepads with dark contrasting lines, non-slip mats for trays and work surfaces, adapted furniture such as large slopeboard and music stand, canes, tactile indicators on the footpath, note sorters, talking watch, travel pass for people with vision impairment. Examples of adaptive equipment and technology for hearing loss include cochlear implants and hearing aids, telephones with induction loops to enable use with hearing aids and cochlear implants, headphones for listening to television and mobile phones, captioned television, doorbells and alarm clocks, telephones with flashing light. Final thoughts. 3 core strategies to help maximise participation and independence have been discussed in this DVD. Structuring and adapting the environment, using task analysis to break down bigger tasks into the steps involved, and using adaptive equipment and technology. This is one of a series of DVDs available through Sensis Foundation. Information about these DVDs and further information regarding strategies for supporting people who are deafblind can be found under the Resources section of this DVD. Further information and support regarding strategies described in this DVD can be obtained from local support professionals or relevant support providers. But remember also the value of talking to other people who are deafblind, their families and others who know them well for practical advice and support.
There is always ongoing learning and adaptation with technology. It is really phenomenal. You need to make sure that you keep up with all that, keep your finger on the pulse where technology is concerned, because it really can be so helpful. Just keep learning together.